Another JB vlog. This time, no panniers. Censoring the dash is a bit tiring. I need to find a piece of way to block the odometer, the speedometer. Also, what's new? Okay, lately I've been thinking about small, medium, big bikes. X-Max 2A, it's perfect. It's the sweet spot and the perfect bike to have. So after riding class 2 bikes for 3 years and my mileage on them 40 plus 40 plus 20, so 100 km on class 2 bikes in about 2.5 years, and I'm honestly a bit tired of it. There are benefits. Your use case for class 2 and a daily bike will be very different. They have no overlapping responsibilities. Unlike hybrids, something like XADV, Forza 750. So this is where a big bike shines. I mean, a small bike will be, okay, pros and cons, right? So if you come on a big bike, generally you are open to bikes which have better suspension, better everything. So it's more comfortable. You come to JB at this kind of timing, there's nobody, open road, you go over suspension easily, adventure bikes. So if you come on X-Max, actual daily bike, wheels are small, scooter tire size is I think what, 15, 14. So bumps are pronounced, your suspension is short, it's uncomfortable, and it's not very settling, right? So you see, a GS can perfectly fit between these things easily. You just need to... The problem is simply familiarity. If you don't know where to go, whichever lanes to go, no matter I give you small bike, big bike, you'll still bitch about it. So, like just everything else, you need practice. After coming into JB a few times, you realize on a big bike, the safe, comfortable lane will always be the first counter, the manual counter. Because if it's a jam, you don't have to go through all of these little bikes, the tight spaces, the tight corners. You don't have to deal with the hassle whether your bike can fit through or not. It's a mentally comfortable, peace of mind kind of thing. But if you're thick-skinned, which you should be after riding a bike for a while, I think by the time you get to class 2, you should be thick-skinned enough to do these things. After you're thick-skinned is the physical exhaustion, right? You need to balance a heavier bike. It's not by much, it's just slightly more tiring than X-Max, right? But over something like 30 minutes, and to deal with the heat, I think you need to have some physical conditioning. So if you're going JB often, make sure you exercise and not just be a slouch. If you have P-Land, worse. The bike is going to be much more pronounced and you will have to waddle through everything. Your arm strength will be at play now. Pushing the bike, if required, you pick a poison, right? You want something that is light and problem-free. In fact, an X-Max is more like a caravan and a house than a GS is. So now we got to the part of X-Max, GS. What about a GS without panniers? The handling is very different. Maybe I'll save the without panniers part for when I enter back Singapore. Okay, I've heard friends who refuse to come into JB because of this particular bend. They are afraid they cannot manage the bike. Even something small like a Super 4, they don't feel confident to circumvent all these bends. Get them to come into JB, you have to invite them at godforsaken timings, 12:30 AM onwards preferably, and in the day it's a no-no. Skill aside, maybe road sense and the nature of the bike, but if you are riding a small bike like an Aerox, you probably wouldn't want to come into JB very often as well. The sheer distance from your house to checkpoint and then going over all these bumps is tiring enough even if you don't have to change gear. So your suspension, your tire size, everything's at play. The only con of the GS is that you have to change gear. You know, for its weight, it's already very low CG. In some situations, I would find it being able to handle low speed U-turns as well as the X-Max. But then again, it's an adventure bike and a boxer engine. It's a tough one to beat, and it's an unfair comparison because the bike that I'm using as a template right now, I can actually feel the wind go through, you know. Like if I put my hands down here, even if I close my grip, honestly, I am able to flat feet more easily on the GS than an X-Max. And I am 175. Because this is a stock seat, by the way, and the stock seat is plenty comfortable. It's better to re-wrap the stock seat than to buy aftermarket seats like Sargent, Duratec, blah blah blah. Bro, now cannot use card ah? Oh, okay, okay. Lazy ah. Never mind, I go to. It's okay, thanks. Okay, after pumping petrol, the weight of the bike feels different. GS without panniers comparison. Now, the obvious difference is the 30-litre fuel tank, right? Fully loaded with no pannier, you can feel the difference. Okay, so how should I put it? The panniers actually make a bike feel planted. It lowers the center of gravity. Very even front and back. So panniers is actually, depending on how you see it, it can be a good thing. It helps with a low speed maneuver if you actually know how to use the center of gravity to your advantage. Okay, I think I want to angle myself this way so I can leave. Oh, so slippery the floor. So pump petrol, tapao some food. Ah, 就好。那辣椒2个 sambal。 Anyways, this area is quite chill. This is the bike wash that I always frequent. It's good. Jasmine bike wash. That was a problematic hump. So is this. But my turns are more narrow, much more narrow than usual. I'm afforded a much more narrow turn because I don't have panniers. So I can turn immediately and not after my shoulder. Okay, I'm taking like a huge risk, you know. I could end up with a completely swimming wet box. Well, you know what, if the box is going to be completely wet, I would just carry the top box up already. I think my concern that the drink has spilled is valid. And this is what I mean by family friendly bike. You cannot tapao on a bike, like a motorcycle, big class 2 bike, comfortably. Just for this reason, unless you have like an XADV Forza. Scooters are the best. You have a space in front of you, you can put whatever you want, however you want. A whole backpack. Have I mentioned that Circulin is a very smooth engine oil? I bet I have. No, I am not going to the old checkpoint, I am going to the new one. I need to exit by the highway. I got no time to go through all the small roads. Okay, so old checkpoint, which is on the far left. In between the old and new one, there's like this small area over there that you guys see that is always locked behind a gate. So that area, if you are a big bike and you went through there, keep to the far end. It's always the first and last counter that is wide enough to accommodate big bikes. You know what, actually I think the center one, any bikes can go through the... Yeah, this one is the part where I need to take out my helmet. They say no sunglasses, not no spectacles eh. Wow, if you go by big bike be careful please don't wear your stupid full face. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay. Fuck this shit. Customs is still jammed. I don't have time to sweat the logistics. Plug and play, okay? The drink did not spill, but the 2 of the cups actually fell backwards because the plastic completely unloosened. So I mean, it's common sense, but just to put it out there in words, you don't want to be going anything faster than maybe 120. The frequency of the vibration, you know, like low speed you get like a very floaty, but at high speed it's like your camera or your dampers, not every equipment is designed to handle that kind of frequencies.